Hi friends, most of you watch my channel without a subscription. Subscribe if you like my videos. Have a great vacation.
When my husband was 10, his mom found out his dad had another son, 13 at the time, and multiple mistresses. When they divorced, his dad tried to bribe him to say he wanted to live with him. His dad ended up disowning him when he refused and went on to marry the mother of his other son. I'll refer to him as Josh from now on. When my husband was 15, his mom got sick and died shortly after. His father refused to take him, so he ended up living with his maternal grandmother. To say my husband hates his dad would be an understatement. My father-in-law was incredibly wealthy, so my late mother-in-law got a huge divorce settlement which my husband was the sole beneficiary of when she passed. 2 months ago, Josh got into contact with my husband and begged him to help save their family home. My husband's grandfather built it for his wife, and my husband has told me about it multiple times. He loved that house, and he used to tell me if he got the chance to buy it, he would in a heartbeat. My husband agreed to help. Josh and I both assumed this meant that my husband would legally own the house, but he would let Josh and his family, including his dad, continue to live there. Turns out, my husband is just letting Josh believe this is what's happening, so he doesn't sell it to their uncle. I found this out yesterday, and I tried to tell him what he was doing was cruel, especially since Josh has 2 young children, but my husband is refusing to see reason. I know he wants to hurt his dad, but I don't think this is going to give him the satisfaction he thinks it will. He still has a relationship with his paternal aunts, uncles, cousins, and I'm also worried this might ruin those relationships for him. Josh has also reached out to my husband multiple times in the past to try and forge a relationship with him, and I feel like this is going to kill any chances of them ever having one. I just don't want him to make a mistake, but he's refusing to listen to me. A part of me wants to warn Josh, but I know that'll kill my marriage. My only chance is to convince him not to do this, but I'm not sure how to. Please, help. I guess my question to you is, why does Josh deserve to live in the home free? Josh may not be able to afford to buy it himself, but why on earth would he ask your husband to buy the house and let him live there? How do you have 2, 3 adults living in a house that is presumably paid off, but desperately, financially so poorly off that they need someone to bail them out and save the house? Where's Josh's mom in all this? Your husband was disowned and disavowed by his living parent, even after losing his mother. And now they all want him to play happy families. Your husband wants the house. It's for sale, and he wants to buy it and keep it in the family. Why on earth would Josh, his kids, and your husband's dad think they would be able to continue to live in the house? Knowing what all went down, why would you think this is reasonable? They sell the house, and presumably someone tells them, "We take possession on the 31st. Have everyone out of there." That's all that's owed. Little background. My parents got divorced roughly a year ago. They were married for 20 years and had a pretty unhappy marriage throughout. It was even hard to think of them as a couple for all those years. However, they never had the courage to end their relationship. I don't know the reason. I've been pushing for their divorce since I was 16. Not in bad, but good terms. Well, that didn't happen. After their last big fight, my mom finally had enough. Same goes for my dad, and they ended the relationship. We don't have a good relationship to our dad. No contact because he wanted it like that. My sister graduated and found herself a nice job in which she's earning decent money and can live the life she wants. Same goes for my mom. Both of them love to dress up, go out, and have a good time on parties. My dad was the complete opposite, and that's most likely one of the reasons why their relationship didn't go well. In that regard, I'm quite similar to him. Don't get me wrong, I go out with friends, have fun, but I love it much more to hit the gym and do other sports after college or work. I'm definitely someone that likes to be alone. Enough background. I'll cut to the case. Roughly 2 years ago, my sister got together with her boyfriend. They seemed to be happy with each other, going on vacations and all. But at the same time, the relationship between my mom, sis, became so bad to a point where they couldn't look each other in the face. They had countless fights that escalated to a point where I had to step in before they seriously hurt each other. Like, for real. One time, my sis went crazy and chucked a big old cup of coffee on my mom, when I was in the way, of course. And a moment later, I thought my right arm would melt off. 5 months ago, my sis and her boyfriend stopped dating. Apparently, there was a big discussion, and both never wanted to see the other again. I never got the details. Suddenly, 2 months ago, my sister calls me when I was at work, and she tells me that my mom went completely crazy and is currently dating her ex. When I confronted my mom about it, she told me that she's free to date whoever she wants, and that she's in love with him. Since then, my sister is mentally unstable. I'm seriously worried about her condition. In the past years, I'm working part-time since I was 16. I managed to save up a good amount. I offered her to meet a professional and I will pay for it, but she doesn't want to for whatever reason. Currently, I'm living with a good friend of mine whose parents left the country for a couple months. They are extremely rich and often just go on vacations for like 2 or 3 months. He's letting me live at his place and he doesn't want me to pay rent as long as our problems are not solved yet. As for that guy, whenever he tried to approach my sister, talk with her, she told me to keep him off, which I did. I told him that he has to deal with me as long as my sis doesn't want to have any contact. He did so far. Seriously, guys, what can I do? Both of them are responsible for their relationship to be destroyed like that, and I've tried to talk to both of them, but they're both so stubborn. Wow. Firstly, your mom is an a-hole who has lost her damn mind. I can see why your sister is losing her damn mind while dealing with a mother who is in love with her ex. That's just gross. Secondly, why does the ex even want to talk to your sister? Obviously, there is nothing he can say that would improve your sister's perspective on the situation, so he should definitely back off. Good for you to put yourself between them. You're a good brother. As for what to do next, there's not much you can do here that you haven't thought of already. Just continue supporting your sister and gently recommending therapy, professional help. Your mom is not open to hearing your or her perspective on this, but it may not hurt to get other family members, your maternal grandmother, or a maternal aunt or uncle, to help you mediate or, frankly, knock some sense into your mother. If it was me, I would be actively trying to sabotage my mother's relationship with my sister's ex, though it's certainly not the most mature approach. But this ex clearly is not a good person. Who dates their ex's mom and thinks that will go over well? He needs to be out of both of their lives before he does irreparable damage to their relationship. I was 17 and my sister was only 12 when our mother kicked us out. Mom always cared more about her men than her kids. Her boyfriend at the time had a court order that he wasn't allowed to live in a house with children that weren't his. So sis and I had to pack our bags and shuffle between our relatives until I became old enough to start the process to be her guardian. Now my sister is 18 and I'm 23. We're both freshmen at the same college. I had to wait to go so that I could work and support us. Sometimes it got really crazy trying to keep everything together. My sister is smarter than me, our mom, and the rest of our family combined. And kinder too. She deserves the world. But before last year, all I was ever able to give her was the bare necessities. And even through all of that, she managed to get the second highest grades in all of her high school class. Bless her. Over the last couple of years, I actually managed to build a nice-sized online following. Last year was when it really took off, and now I'm able to very comfortably take care of us and our dogs through Patreon, small sponsorships, ads revenue, merch, etc. We live in a 2-story house on campus and we share a nice car. We aren't rich, we're comfortable, but compared to our mom, we're millionaires. Our darling mother got into D a while back, but supposedly now she's clean. She really hadn't been talking to either of us until she lost her job in November, And then she messaged Sis because she knows she's blocked on my phone. Now she needs money. Now she needs love. It's the holidays. I'm a heartless son. She's homeless. She's hungry. She needs this. She needs that. Blah, blah, blah. Sis came into my room crying over the sob story Mom gave her. I genuinely don't care. I mean, I really do care that my sister is upset by all this. It's honestly making me pretty mad at our mom for pulling this crap during finals. What I don't care about is whatever my mom is trying to sell her. My sister wants to help her. I do not. But maybe that's the crappy half of me that is our mother talking. I don't know. I would have a very honest conversation with your sister where you point out that your history with your mother played out differently than hers did because you had to be the one responsible for both of you. And while you would do it again in a heartbeat because you love her and want her to have a great life, it made your life a lot harder than it ever should have been. So if your sister wants to get a job and help out your mom, she is an adult and that is her choice to make. But you need her to respect that you choose to not have anything to do with your mother personally or financially, and you really never want to hear about your mother again. A little background. My mom got pregnant with me when she was 17 with a random guy, and then got pregnant with my sister with another random guy. She came from a humble background, and we were staying with our grandma as my mom worked minimum wage job just to feed us. When I was 9, my mom met a rich guy who came from a rich family. They dated for 1 year before the guy asked my grandma for her daughter to marry. They held one big dowry where they brought cows, sheep, goats money as part of traditions in my country. Their family was delighted to meet us and started saying how they couldn't wait for us to be one big family. Little did we know that after the wedding, 2 months later, that the family would reject us. It all started after my mom told us to stay at my grandma for a while, and she will come to get us after the honeymoon. Then followed a lot of excuses why she wouldn't come to get us before. The calls reduced later after. She only talked to us maybe 5 times a year. And then she completely cut all contact and we never saw or heard from her again. They moved to UK, had 2 kids with him. So basically, she decided to abandon her kids for money and a luxurious life. We struggled for 9 years, right from abandonment. My grandma's death, abusive relatives, being homeless, doing D, and committing a few crimes for money. Until when a church clergy from my grandma's church and a good friend of my grandma found us, took us in. We were a part of the church's charity program to help the homeless. We went back to school. Anyway, 3 years ago, my sister got a sponsorship to join a university in Canada after she won a local academic competition in my country. My sister insisted I go with her and convinced the church and the bank that funded the competition for me to join her, as I was her only family and I took care of her when nobody didn't. We only had each other. We moved to Vancouver, Canada. My sister is still in college doing her master's. I graduated last year and got a job, a car, and an apartment where we both live with each other. Back to the main story. Recently, my mom reached out to me on Facebook. She sent a friend request before she messaged me to ask how we are doing. I also found out she has been following me on Instagram. I didn't respond. She then went ahead and sent me a long text apologizing and just asking me to forgive her and just respond to her. I still haven't responded, but she has been sending more and more texts on SM. Last message she sent was that she was coming to Canada for a vacation by the beginning of November and was wondering if we could meet up. The reason I'm ignoring her is that I don't want to insult or call her names or say bad things to her, but I just don't know how to handle the situation. My sister also doesn't want to talk to her. Vacation in Canada during a pandemic. Yeah, right. Probably code for, my husband is trading me for a newer model, and as I am about to be discarded, I am looking for alternative sources to leech off. That's maybe a stretch, but I wouldn't risk it. I met my fiance when I was at a very low point in my life. We instantly clicked and had a whirlwind romance. I proposed after 3 months and we are now engaged. I feel like my family has never approved of her or particularly liked her. They are all very educated and work professional jobs, while she is a college dropout who works as a hostess. She is starting a venture of her own and I am funding it for her. The problem started with my sister-in-law and my brother. They told me that 3 months was too quick and that I should date her for longer. They have also implied that she is a gold digger. They never used the term. They said this because she doesn't financially contribute. My fiance isn't particularly fond of my sister-in-law. Sister-in-law is very rich and successful, and fiance thinks that she is snobbish. The problem escalated when there was a family wedding and my fiance wasn't invited. She is of a different race, so she accused my family of being R and said this to my parents' face. My parents never expressed an opinion about her, but that was their ticking point. My sister-in-law and brother added to this and told them about my financial contributions to her ventures and other details about her relationship. My parents said that I am making the wrong decision. I told my fiancée this, and she lashed out. She messaged my sister-in-law and told her that she is a horrible person for trying to wreck our relationship. My sister-in-law once again communicated this to my parents, and they have refused to pay for and attend the wedding. My fiancée says that her family will accept me with open arms, and that we can get married in City Hall. She accused my parents of being elitists and said that they only like my sister-in-law because she's educated and of the same race. I love my fiancé, but I feel like she's trying to manipulate me into cutting all ties. I don't know what to do, and I don't want to reach a point of no return with my family. Any advice will be appreciated. 3 months and you're funding a business startup for her and engaged. Holy crap, that's fast track. What's the rush? Without knowing any other details, I'm on your parents' side with this one. 3 months is a blink of an eye. Her messaging your sister-in-law like that is a huge red flag as well. You haven't even met her family, and she's asking you to cut yours off. Dude. Well, we broke up. A lot of the comments echoed what my family was saying, but the outside perspective drilled it into my head. I have a good relationship with my parents, and my sister-in-law is actually one of my best friends. Just to clarify from the previous post, I never thought they were R or snobbish. It was an idea my ex was forcing into my head. The breakup was very messy. I told her that I thought we were going too fast and that it wasn't working out, and she began crying and implied that she would K herself. I could see the manipulation clearly for the first time, and I just told her that it is above my pay grade and she should seek professional help for this. Now, for all the money I invested in her business. Well, it was a mistake, and I'm just considering it a sunk cost. It did hurt my pockets, but recovering it will just tangle more webs. Thank you so much for all the advice. It helped me avoid a grave mistake.